Okay guys, so plan is to start a small fire using these various materials that I've gathered on the trail on my way here. So yeah, the sun's gonna be going down here pretty soon, so I want to cook my dinner later on, so I'm gonna need to have something, get myself some sort of source of heat. Now, this is what I got to kind of materials I have to work with. And then I also have this small striker, which is basically some magnesium, shredded magnesium, and then a small flint stick with a metal striker. Now, what this allows you to do is you're going to put a little bit of magnesium in an area with some other combustible material, and then you're just going to strike it. This will basically create a spark, and hopefully it lights the fire so I can survive tonight. So without further ado, I'll get started on my fire build here. Okay, so first thing we need to know is that we need to start off with this very fine material that's going to ignite very easily with the magnesium. And what I try to do is I try to build it up in using all these small, really fine, small sticks, and I build sort of like a pyramid style, or what you call a teepee. What it allows you to do is once you get the fire started underneath, everything's going to kind of get ignited above it. So you always want to have it kind of building on top of itself. Otherwise, you can get a fire started and then you end up, it burns out on you real quick. So this is kind of traditional fire starting method where you build a small teepee. Notice I'm breaking off all the small branches because these ones are obviously going to increase the surface area of the material as much as possible and increase our chances of getting a fire started. So fire 101, you're going to need oxygen, which we got lots of. I think there's about 20% in the atmosphere, so that's no problem. You need fuel. We got lots of that. And you're going to need a source of ignition. Otherwise, it's going to sit here and do nothing. So, as you see here, I've kind of got a fairly good little start on this teepee, as it were. And slowly increasing the size of the sticks, so they're getting larger and larger as I'm building it up. And the reason for that is because you want to have, after this thing gets going, you want to start to get larger and larger pieces lit on fire so you can sustain, you can start to build up coals and sustain the fire. So this is kind of where we're at here. Small teepee, and this is try to get as much tinder as possible down here. And bark is really good. It's very flammable stuff. I think it has some pitch and some naturally flammable sort of materials. This will give us a little bit of heat to get the rest of it going. And I'm just going to clean up all the little fragments. And I'm just kind of throw it on top here. So let's see what we can do here. See if we can start a fire. Okay. This is going to be my first attempt, and this is in real time, so there's no guarantees that we're going to get this thing started. So I'm going to take out take the tape off this fire starter, aptly labeled fire starter, and as you can see, there's like small magnesium chips in there. Now, what I need to do is I need to put something underneath this so we can have some sort of like pool of chips. Okay. So there's my pool of chips. I'm gonna add a bit more. Okay, so put that away. That out of the way. Now I think this is basically how this works. It's basically a striker. Okay, it looks like the magnesium started. Whoa. Okay, that stuff's burning pretty hot. Let's see if we can get some bark. That bark going. Okay, I can see. Okay, see how everything's kind of moving upwards now from the bottom. Looks like we're starting to get a little bit of traction here. And yeah, I'm gonna just add a little more bark on the top here. So it's basically, the heat is kind of moving up. I can see it's starting to ignite all the larger material. And it looks like we were successful, at least at getting it started. Now I don't know if we're going to be able to keep it going, but this is pretty much the process. I think we get some more wood, we could throw it on top of here, and before you know it, you're going to have a nice little hot fire to cook your dinner and keep you warm, keep the animals away, and yeah, it's kind of how it's done. Right now it's like it's kind of late in the season, so I think the sun's gonna be going down here in a bit. We wanna make sure we go out and get some larger logs and some more material and create a nice little wood pile. And we can kind of set up our tent here, or set up our lean-to shelter on the beach, and have a nice night on beach, and then tomorrow we'll head off and get back on the trail and try to find our way back into the civilization. Because right now it's not looking too good. We're kind of out in the middle of nowhere right now. And as you can see, the fire's starting to kind of change shape a little bit, so you just got to keep an eye on it. But yeah, that's how it works. And it does help that the wood is quite dry right now. So, and we have a really good bed here for a fire pit. I'll get some rocks, kind of start getting some rocks, and maybe put a few rocks around the edges. One thing about surviving in the bush, it sure is peaceful. I'm just looking at the creek there. I'm seeing some activity in the water. It looks like we got some fish. Oh. Right. We'll continue with the So all those rocks are just kind of to keep the ashes contained, and gives you a little bit of a sort of a location where so your fire doesn't spread too far, Just keeps everything kind of in one location. So it's been a long day on the trail, so I'm actually pretty bushed, and this is a pretty nice spot to kind of kick back and kind of recharge the batteries. One thing you gotta make sure you drink lots of water, because you know we've been on the trail all day, and I'm feeling this feeling quite dehydrated, actually, starting to get a little punchy. Still, you know. Well, there you have it. Whew. So I think we're gonna try and gather a few more logs and branches and get this thing, give it a little more, get the coal beds fired up so we can start cooking later. What I'm noticing here, because we're in the basically a creek bed, a lot of this wood is actually quite wet. Doesn't get a lot of sunlight down here, and it seems like I'm feeling this is quite heavy, and I actually don't know how well this is going to burn. So we got to get it on top of the fire so we can start drying it out, and eventually it'll light up. But you know, I don't want to risk this fire getting too small before we start to feed it more material. Oh yeah, so definitely feel it cooling off here. And I think I'm just gonna grab a few more pieces of wood and get my dinner ready. Stuff's pretty wet. So one good way to kind of, if your fire isn't really performing as well as you want it to, one good way to kind of get things going is to basically fan the flames. So I'm going to just use my makeshift fan here, and I'm going to just give it a little more air. As you can see, the air moving across the coals accelerates the sort of combustion process, and you get a good bed of coals on your fire, and generates a lot more heat. So it's pretty much a good little tip if your fire is ever kind of not putting out a lot of heat. Okay, so hope you enjoyed this this fire lighting on a small, peaceful little beach in British Columbia, and we'll see you next time. And remember, hit the like button and subscribe to this channel, because you're going to see a lot more of this survival-oriented. I'm going to be on the trail tomorrow, so I'll probably take a few more videos, show you how it's done out here. And it's going to be snowing up here pretty soon, so I'm thinking we'll have to do some more videos once the snow hits. Make a small shelter out here. But yeah, I mean, in terms of just getting out of this city and into the wilderness, I mean, you can't beat it here. It's a lovely, peaceful, serene little spot, and I'm gonna sleep like a baby here tonight on this soft sand beach. Okay, till next time.